Fair use. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. December 2nd. Serenity. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 106. As I continued to go to meetings and work the steps, something began to happen to me. I felt confused because I wasn't sure what it was that I was feeling. And then I realized I was experiencing serenity. It was a good feeling, but where had it come from? Then I realized it had come as a result of these steps. The program may not always be easy to practice, but I had to acknowledge that my serenity had come to me after working the steps. As I work the steps in everything I do, practicing these principles in all my affairs, now I find that I am awake to God, to others, and to myself. The spiritual awakening I have enjoyed as the result of working the steps is the awareness that I am no longer alone. Courage to change, one day at a time in Al-Anon, December 2nd. I can easily itemize my loved one's limitations. Hours pass while I list the ways in which he could stand to change. But not one thing has ever improved as a result of this mental criticism. All it does is keep my mind on someone other than me. Instead of admitting my powerlessness over another person's choices and attitudes, I flirt with illusions of power. In the end, I am a little more bitter, more hopeless, and more frustrated. And nothing about my situation or the other person has changed. What would happen if I took my list of criticisms and applied it gently to myself? I may complain about my loved one's verbal abuse. After all, I don't speak to him that way. But at the level of thought, I am just as abusive. The same attitude exists in both of us. We just manifest it differently. Today's reminder. Al-Anon says, let it begin with me. When I identify something I dislike in another, I can look for similar traits within myself and begin to change them. By changing myself, I truly can change the world. There's a quote from This is Al-Anon, and it reads, peace of mind depends on recognizing our own shortcomings. An honest personal inventory helps us recognize our strengths and weaknesses. Just for today, Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts, December 2nd. Recovery, our first priority. We have to keep our recovery first and our priorities in order. Basic text, page 82. Before coming to NA, we used many excuses to justify our use of drugs. He yelled at me. She said this. My partner left. I got fired. We used these same excuses for not seeking help for our drug problem. We had to realize that these things kept happening because we kept using drugs. Only when we made recovery our first priority did these situations begin to change. We may be subject to the same tendency today, using excuses for not attending meetings and being of service. Our current excuses may be of a different nature. I can't leave my kids. My vacation wore me out. I have to finish this project so I can impress my boss. But still, if we don't make recovery our first priority, chances are that we won't have to worry about these excuses anymore. Kids, vacations, and jobs probably won't be in our lives if we relapse. Our recovery must come first, job or no job, relationship or no relationship. We have to attend meetings, work the steps, call our sponsor, and be of service to God and others. These simple actions are what make it possible for us to have vacations, families, and bosses to worry about. Recovery is the foundation of our lives, making everything else possible. Just for today, I will keep my priorities in order. Number one on my list is my recovery. Today, Emotions Anonymous, December 2nd. Reflection for today. How many blessings can I find to be thankful for today? It is easy to say, thank you, God, for the big things in my life, such as the recovery of a loved one's health, a new car, a job, promotion, or the winning of a contest. But how about gratitude for the mundane or insignificant things such as grass, getting home safely, being able to read the comics or watch a favorite TV show? Certainly, there are people in my life to be thankful for other than my spouse or significant other. How about that pleasant bus driver, a delightful coworker, or the charming paperboy? There are things in my home to be thankful for, things which make my life easier and more pleasant. Air conditioners, dishwashers, and Scotch tape come to mind. Practicing gratitude throughout the day make me aware of how blessed my life truly is. Meditation for today. Help me to remember to be grateful for all things large and small. Today I will remember, do not take my blessings for granted. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics' dysfunctional families. December 2nd. Spontaneous feelings. No longer willing or able to suppress my feelings, they came up effusively and erratically. BRB, page 409. When we entered our first meetings, we may have felt numb. Then, as we kept coming back, suddenly it felt like a roller coaster with feelings flying blindly around a corner without warning. As we progress in recovery, we learn to acknowledge all of our feelings and be unafraid. We don't put limits on how much we allow ourselves to feel. Whatever comes up for us at the moment is okay. We do not pretend we are fine when we are not. Claiming our truth becomes a basic need for us. We no longer allow others to try to shut us down when they're uncomfortable. We maintain conscious contact with a higher power through our personal spiritual awakening, whatever form that takes. We cultivate affirming and soothing self-talk in the form of our inner loving parent, the parent we always deserved. Recovery unfolds for us gently over time as we see each new direction we need to take. And then we seize it and run. We trust ourselves and our intuition. Our feelings are not overwhelming. They are what they are. The affirmation reads, on this day, I will allow my feelings to safely wash over me. This will give me the strength to be genuine with myself and others. Please share, subscribe, like, and remember that recovery is absolutely possible, one day at a time, and you are not alone.